The premise of our show, Reality and Beyond, is a person without a dream, goal, or inspiration is lost. When one is lost, he or she can become self-destructive or turn to substances and not live up to their potential. Our job is to help keep you on track with a smile by entertaining you and also by introducing you to people who are living in their dreams. Today, here at Eastern Connecticut State University, we are going to meet somebody who has not only achieved her goals, but holds a position that is responsible for making sure that thousands of people each day have access to the tools and personnel they need to reach for their dreams. Hi, JD for Reality and Beyond here at Eastern Connecticut State University, and sitting to my right is Dr. Elsa Nunez. Did I pronounce that correctly?
That's correct.
President of Eastern Connecticut State University. And we met, like as I said, at Street Festival last year, and your energy was just overwhelming. I mean, you had quite a bit of energy, and you were all excited. Of course, Street Festival's kind of exciting.
It was fun,
anyways.
wasn't it? We
Yes,
had a
it
nice
was.
time.
And I want to thank you for, first of all, letting us take some of your time out of your busy day, because I know you're going all over the place all the time. Is that about right?
It is. It's a busy schedule, but I'm glad to do this, and I'm glad to see you again.
Well, thank you.
It's
Same
been a
here.
good time.
Yeah, a little bit of time. It was a little warmer when we were seeing
Yes,
each other
in
last.
August. It was a lovely day.
Of course, if we'd done this anyhow. Let's talk. Now, I know a little bit about you, and I, of course, did some homework before I came. Well, let's first of all talk about Dr. Nunez. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up as Dr. Nunez or Elsa Nunez?
Mm-hmm. Sure. I think, it's really, it's an interesting question, because I often think about, where I've come in my life, and it's amazing what can happen in this country. I think that the American dream, you often think it's a cliche when you talk about that, but I think every day there are people who could give testimony that the American dream is still real and alive for people from modest backgrounds, people from, very difficult circumstances come to this country, and either they work very hard, and either in their lifetime or their children's lifetime, they manage to change socioeconomic class. They manage to become American citizens with material things that they otherwise might not have, and the opportunity to be a citizen in a great democracy. And that's my story, basically. My mom and dad came here. They couldn't speak English. My father worked in a factory. Later, my mother also worked in a factory. And to this day, they're in their 80s, and they're retired in Puerto Rico. And if you ask my father about this country, he's the most patriotic American.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh, he thinks this is the best country in the world. And he always says, if you work hard, if you're looking, for opportunity, this country will give it to you. And so he instilled the values in us that our circumstances were not great, but there was a lot of love, and there was always something to eat on the table, and that you didn't have to be in that situation forever, but that the key was getting an education. So my mom and dad made great sacrifices for us as young people to have whatever we could to have. We didn't have a lot of books at home, but we had the newspaper every day. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but my dad read the newspaper. He always started with the sports section, and he read it, front to back. And so his English, he had been in the American Army, so he could speak some English, and he could read. He's a high school graduate. My mom didn't finish high school, but only elementary school. But the values were very strong, and so I grew up in a household that really emphasized getting an education. That's exactly what I did. And my life is a story, I think a storybook ending, where you work very hard, you go to school, you work, come out of school, you make take every advantage that an education has given you, and that's how I got to this presidency. It's by a lot of hard work on the part of my mother and father.
Were there obstacles? I mean, we hear when I hear stories like that, oftentimes a lot of when you see successful people, and the most common people that we see are like the entertainment industry, living that high life. But we think of them as it was handed to them on a silver platter, and they just got there, no obstacles. Just one day they woke up and hit the lottery. And some people that are in the educational field might feel that way about somebody that's in the presidency. Would you say that you were obstacle free on your travel or your trip up to presidency?
I think, JD, that question, people don't ask me that, and I really think that's an important question, and I appreciate your asking me, because there were so many. And I think that it looks easy when you look at a person at the end. Oh my gosh, he or she is a CEO or a president, and you don't realize what they've gone through. Yeah, there were many. The first one I remember as a little girl, I couldn't speak English, was that the teacher put me in a corner with a little boy who was slow. He was, I don't think he was, I don't know what his IQ was, but he was slow. He was just in a corner. He wasn't a bad little boy. He just couldn't do the work. And all he did was draw horses all day. He was a very good artist.
Oh, wow.
And they put me in that corner with him. I couldn't draw. I mean, I can't draw, two sticks together to do a stick figure. And I used to, and I would admire what he was doing. And that's what she did. I got no instruction because I couldn't speak English. So, I think being marginalized like that as a child is really, it has its effect on you. I felt very bad sitting there day after day. And eventually, my father was, also teaching us a little bit of English, and we managed. But it felt like you were a bad person. It felt like that people didn't want you. It's all the negative attributes to a situation like that. And I remember that. I also think that now that my mom and dad talk to me very, in my 50s, they talk to me openly about what their pain and suffering was like. And, my mom was a factory worker, and she was sexually harassed by the foreman, very, aggressively, and she couldn't quit her job. And she was afraid of telling my father for fear that, he would get angry and do something.
Right.
And so I think sometimes, they manage those situations, my mom and dad, a lot of discrimination. And I just remember as a child, being mocked by other children because I couldn't speak English, and things like that, physical, being pushed around because when you can't speak English, you're very vulnerable.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah, I think there's a lot of that, a lot of that in my past. I try not to dwell on it, and I often think of children today growing up with, if they're from modest backgrounds and they don't have the right sneakers on, or they don't have the right, and we read about, the kids who are angry because they're marginalized in school. And I think it's more common than we think. So yes, there were obstacles. And as I said, I try not to dwell on them, but it's made me more sensitive. I find myself reaching out. I was just with a group of students welcoming them to Eastern, new freshmen, and I went out of my way to say, we can't read your mind. If you need help, just ask us. So I think it has helped me become a more sensitive person.
Oh, wow. It's it's interesting that you should say we have as you know, we have a large Hispanic. So can you say in Spanish how to overcome obstacles? I know normally I do this at the end, but could you share a little bit of that in Spanish with us?
Sí, puedo hablar en español. Y hay muchos obstáculos en la vida y hay que sobresalir y luchar para eliminar los obstáculos y poder adelantar el futuro de cada persona.
What kind of things have happened over the course of the year with you and Eastern and the community?
Well, I was appointed, the announcement was made in May, but I didn't physically come on campus till August 1st. So I had that period from May to August to really think about the presidency and what goals I might set and what ambitions I had for Eastern, knowing full well that I didn't know the institution as well as I would get to know the institution.
Right.
But you can make some judgments about an institution even if you're not physically there. So I did do that over the summer, and I went to something called the American Association of Colleges and Universities New Presidents Academy. I lovingly call it boot camp.
Yeah.
New Presidents Boot Camp.
Wait, let me just go ahead. A boot camp.
New presidents, and I spent a week there with a group of presidents who all were it was their first presidency, and the 5 presidents who led the discussion were all experienced presidents who had been there, who have been in their positions for at least 10 years. So experienced people, and so I was able to talk to them about what I thought, what my objectives were, and it was an interesting conversation, and I really learned a lot. And one of the things that I set for one of the goals that I set for the fall semester was to basically meet as many people as I could, and to learn about Hartford, for example. to learn about Willimantic, to meet the academic department here, the faculty members of the academic departments. And so I did do all that. I met with students in every dorm. I met with every academic department. Non-academic departments I also have met with. I took the, completed the program, the Hartford Leadership Program.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was great. I met the mayor, I met the chief of police, I went to the Bushnell, I went to the museums, did breakfast at, funky little restaurants
there's
and dinner.
yeah.
And,
There's some really nice
it
little
was
highways,
really
yeah.
a great experience. In Willimantic, I went to Third Thursday with the first selectman. I had meetings. I went to the hospital for a tour and met with the head of the hospital here in Wyndham. I've done so much to meet people, and I think that's been so valuable, because in every meeting people have expressed their opinions and given me their perceptions about Eastern.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's been really informative. I've learned a lot. I've also had an opportunity to comment about, Eastern too. So it's just been wonderful. Meeting in the dorms with the students was fabulous. We had a lot of cookies and, and soda.
Did you actually go door to door to the dorms, or did you?
I
have
actually met in the, meeting room
Common
of each of the
rooms,
dorms,
right,
and
right.
they came downstairs, and, they were there. They had questions. Everybody, it depended, but most people would complain about the food, we hear complaints about the food, but we did follow up on recommendations that the students made, and on the web, now you'll see that I've posted the answers to the questions that the students asked me to respond to.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so it
that's
was
cool.
really informative. I learned a lot about Eastern. And with the faculty I've met in the academic departments, and they've expressed their concerns, and we've had good discussions about academic programs.
Now, you've also come in the middle of a big growth here, Willimantic itself, they call it the refurbishing, but Eastern itself is just growing, and there's a lot of building going on and all kinds of things.
It's exciting. Yeah, well, under Dr. Carter, with this administrative team that's been here in place, Eastern has just flourished, and new buildings have gone up. They're still going up. We have a 7-year building project plan, so they'll be building for the next 7 years, at least we know. Faculty's excited about majors and programs and their initiatives, student affairs. CAB is interested in more activities, and I think there are now almost 3,000 students living on campus.
Wow.
And so it's a different university than it was 10 years ago, and the change has been very positive. And I think it's so interesting. Morale is very high, and people are excited, and they just want Eastern to keep going, just keep moving forward. And so that's my job.
So on that note, you've been kind enough to offer us the opportunity for a tour.
Yes.
And I know I've stretched this a little bit along, but before we go out on the tour, can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to see, some of the highlights of the campus?
Absolutely. This is the best part of my job, when I take people out to brag about Eastern. And I can't take any of the credit, as you know. As I mentioned, the administrators here and Dr. Carter built a wonderful infrastructure. But you're going to see a wonderful building, the science building, which is about 174,000 square feet. That's being constructed now. That building will open up spring of 2008. And that brings together all of the sciences, chemistry, biology, biochemistry, the computer science department and the mathematics department in one building. And the reason that we want them together is because we emphasize here interdisciplinary studies. That
Right.
departments work together, and that's really the future of study and programming in this country, that disciplines are coming together to study complex issues. It's not that the biologists do it alone and the chemists do it alone. Now there's a field called biochemistry. They do it together.
Right.
So you'll see that building. You'll also see the new child care center, which is phenomenal. And when you look at what we offer the children, it is amazing. It's a beautiful facility with the state-of-the-art, learning opportunities for children. And the faculty are there the faculty who teach early childhood. And that's very important for us, because they're connecting their research to the child care center.
Right.
And so they're observing the children, they're observing the teachers, and so it's theory and practice. Students study here at Eastern. They want their degrees in early childhood, and then they actually go into the daycare center and see the theory operating.
Right.
And there's a lot of technology, so we're able to tape the sessions with the children, you know, as they're interacting with the teachers and the students and the faculty members.
Now, don't eat it? Why can't I eat it?
Because it's little kids.
Oh, okay. Oh, you get your own special pizza?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We can drop pizza. No, but only if you guys eat a pizza cut.
Oh, wow. Who baked all that?
I do.
You did.
It's not big yet.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Come
Take a peek. And this is another
Yeah,
toddler?
this is another toddler.
Hi, everybody.
They're a little bit older.
Well, how old's everybody here?
How old are you?
Three.
He's
3 and 4?
Yeah.
Wow. What are you doing? You are?
They're pacing their snacks.
Wow. You're all growing up. What are you working on over here? Can I see?
Yeah.
Well, what?
I'm working on apples.
You're working on them? What are you doing to them?
We're coloring them.
Oh, wow.
This apple got nails.
Color
Oh, wow. Does that make it scratchy?
Look at. Yeah.
What? Wow. Are you a ballerina? Oh, what do you got on there? Is that Dora the Explorer?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows. Oh,
Look,
wow.
right here.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice.
Why do you got the camera for?
Well, I work at a radio and television show, and we're all over the on the internet. And President Nunez, Dr. Nunez, asked if I would like to come around and visit everybody and
Our students.
see what wonderful work you do.
Look at the macaronis they colored.
You colored the macaronis?
Gus, can you show me your
We
macaroni?
paint the macaroni. We
No,
painted
not
the
interested, huh?
You painted the macaronis. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Pink. I
My
like pink.
favorite color was purple.
Purple. They
Oh,
painted
wow.
the macaronis.
My color was pink.
Pink.
You know, I never would have guessed.
Pink every day.
Never would have guessed that.
Every day.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite color is pink? Oh, wow. What's your favorite color? Pink?
How about the computer? You use the computer here?
Black?
You don't like the computer?
Yes, you do.
White? You like white? Oh, that's a
Anybody
neat
like
color
the
to
computer?
like.
Yeah.
You play Dora,
Who knows how to use it?
PBS Kids.
Who knows how to use it?
Oh, you can show you everything on the computer.
Let me see.
He knows more than I do.
Patrick, it's close. And you want to turn it on? You want to show us how to do it?
I put mine around.
Remember, we have to open this up first. You have to push this button, the power button. Good job, buddy. And you have to open this.
I put my umbrella under mine.
Are you talking about the beach?
No.
You don't have an umbrella right now. Where?
What happens now?
You're making him happy right
We have to wait?
He loves the computer. And he wanted right away to go on.
You're tricky.
You want to color with us?
The crab, the ones that are alive, is that why?
Oh, there's not any in this big jar over here?
I already sold her. It's just a bit. He's sleeping, but he could wake up.
He can?
Yeah, there's a couple in there.
He moves like a crab. Oh,
He's in there.
You guys,
That's Scooter.
do you like
Oh, I gotta see that. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, there he is.
Scooter! Don't tell me you're dead.
Don't tell me you're dead.
maybe he's tired.
And we've got
sleeping.
we've got all for local access. Just for you.
Oh, yeah.
The one that just died. We come in the morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Say bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Thank you for visiting us.
No problem. Bye. Ed, are you staying?
No, John, but you lost it.
Again. Yeah, I'm not losing that again. It's very cold outside. You drive very fast.
Covering your back if you got out the door.
Thank you, sir. Bye, everybody. Thank you for letting me come visit with you.
Have fun, guys. Enjoy your day.
Patrick, you're so lucky.
We don't have the, where's stuff? We don't have the thing to go through to it so he could see the joinery. See, this is all secured so the children can't leave. Nobody can come in
Okay.
and abduct them, but that door leads right into the faculty.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But I don't have my fob to let you in.
That's okay. Well, that was the key thing was it's
The
secured so the kids
Yeah.
can't, so nobody can abduct the kids.
You'll see the new student center that's going up, the addition, that's gonna be phenomenal space. It's gonna have a big fireplace, students can lounge around. There's gonna be the food court set up, where they'll have pizza, they'll have hamburgers, they'll have not Starbucks, but coffee shop.
And now that we've seen the campus, we've talked about what's going to happen in the next year, what's happened already, and the tour is fantastic. The campus is fantastic. Everything's
Oh,
going
thank
really
you.
well.
Thank you.
I really enjoy it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We, this past year at Reality and Beyond on WILI, on December 30th, because that's the night that our show was on, closest to January 1st, we held the first annual Willimantic Frog Leap. And we had a frog that was given to us by Jean Dismay leap across the board at a particular time to represent the new year coming in the countdown. We had a big celebration,
fun.
confetti. But we want to take that from the studio between now and December 31st, 2001, and our goal is to have a frog leap somewhere, and we're hoping it'll be the smokestack from the bridge to the smokestack or over because the threadmill had always been the center of Willimantic, somewhere on the parcel, the Joseph Square area, have a frog leap to represent the new year, whether we do it much like, I don't want to say first night, but many communities have first nights along that lines. And so while I've got you on camera, I'm wondering if perhaps we can count Eastern in on the events. We've got the support of Mike Paulus. Of course, support means, go ahead, JD, you do it. We'll get you whatever you need. Mike's great. We've talked to the Arts Collaborative. I'm hoping to talk to Dr. Loxon and stuff like that. So we're hoping that Eastern will join us and be a part of this and maybe have some activities going on the first.
Absolutely, that would be fun. That would be a fun event for the students, for the staff and faculty. We have a lot of staff and faculty members, who live in the community.
Oh,
and
sure.
They love Willimantic and Wyndham. So yes, we would love to participate and make sure. Now, about the Puerto Rican frog that only lives in Puerto Rico. It's a toad frog called Coqui, C-O.
I know that the frog is El Coqui, and I knew that it was very important and
It only lives in Puerto Rico. If
Right,
you take it out
right.
of that environment, it dies. So I can't ask you to bring one here.
No.
for the first
Well,
time.
Clark, who wasn't able to make it with us today, and as our animator, has suggested that we just put me in a frog suit and use water pressure from the Willimantic River to shoot me out of a cannon, and that would be our frog leap. But we're hoping to do something along, something a little more. Even if it's a frog, even if it's our frog with Christmas tree lights, but outside, but just to have a big community.
That would be fun.
And we have, of course, we have several communities. So we have the Eastern community, we have, the town of Wyndham Willimantic community, and we also have a very strong Hispanic culture too. So hopefully, since our culture is a frog, and I know the Puerto Rican is very important.
The tree frog is the cookie is very important.
Very important that
So-
we can combine all
Yes,
this
yes,
and
yes,
have a
so
big party December 31st. I got you on tape saying yes.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
And that means that nobody can stop us from doing this now, right?
Nobody can stop us.
What we talk about, and I mentioned this earlier, is we focus on dreams, goals, and inspirations. And it's our belief that when somebody's lost track of their dream, goal, and inspiration, that they're lost. They've lost their spunk, they've lost their drive. A lot of times revert to self-destructive things. That's the avenue I unfortunately took when I lost my dream. But or they turn to substances and just, you always meet somebody every now and then that says, I need something a little bit more. When somebody comes to you and somebody sits down alone and says, that's it, I'm done. Let's say it's me. Let's say I come to you, Dr. Nunez, and I say, forget it. It's just too much. I've got too much going on in my life. I give up. I quit. I don't even want to think about going for my dreams anymore. What do you tell that person to get them back on track?
I tell them that I have felt that way too. That there are moments in my life, and it happens to every person, where you become overwhelmed. Whatever it is, personal, professional, you just become overwhelmed. And I said this, and I hope people have, it's an interesting point for me to reflect on, that they that I say to them, and I hope that they feel it's been valuable advice, that you cannot look at the whole thing. You have to look at one step at a time. When you look at the whole thing, you get so overwhelmed. You think, I will never get through this maze. I will never do this thing. And that's really the philosophy that I lived by all my life. I knew the whole thing. I knew that was my goal, but I never saw the 18 or 22 steps that it would take for me to get there.
Right.
I actually looked at one step at a time. And the steps were reasonable, and the steps were doable. And I think that that's what I would say to you. I would say, you know, JD, yes, it is overwhelming, and yes, you are overwhelmed. You're not crazy.
Right.
What is the next one thing that you can do to help you get to your goal? One thing, not 22 things. And if you could isolate the one thing, focus on that one thing, even if it's small, to get you to your goal. And I think if every day you get up and you say, this thing, this act of mine, this behavior of mine will help me get to my goal, you'll focus on it. I think people that lose sight of their goals and become desperate, I think it's because circumstances are really complicated and they get overwhelmed by all of that. So I think taking a small bite is my advice.
Wow. And you know, last time I spoke to you and asked you that question, you wowed me with that too. That's a fantastic. That's so true, though. It's so much easier to look at what's tangible and what's right there, and just one little than it is to look at it in all one chunk. And I like that very much.
Well, thank you, JD.
Well, thank you, Dr. Nunez. Am I pronouncing that right, Dr.
That's
Nunez?
correct, yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your life story.
Thank you.
You're sharing the campus and your thoughts of Eastern in the future and where we've come, where we're going. And thank you for committing Eastern to supporting us in our leapfrog from 2007 to 2008.
And if you ever forget how to pronounce my name, think of 12 o'clock noon, and yes, it's Nunez.
Nunez.
Yes, 12 o'clock noon, and yes.
I'll see that.
See?
Aha! My second Spanish word. Nunez. Could you give one little motivational Spanish, because we lack in that area, and I know that we have Spanish listeners.
Bueno, para todo le diré que ser presidenta de Eastern es un orgullo para mí. Estoy tan excitada y tan positiva en este trabajo que me han dado, y que yo por fin he logrado una meta muy importante en mi vida. Pero le digo a todo el mundo que toda su meta, todo lo que quiere adquirir en su vida se puede hacer. Hay que tomar un paso a la vez y cada día hacer algo positivo para adquirir la meta que uno quiere.